review for Speak No Evil with James McAvoy. So I just watched this, and I've seen the original. It's very similar to the original, except the last act is very different. Now, I watched the original a few years ago. I thought it was okay. I liked it. It's drier than this one, I would say. It's darker. Now I would give this one may be more entertaining though in some ways because of James McAvoy. Now that's pretty much what I would say. James McAvoy is amazing in this. He is having the time of his life. He's going crazy. He obviously enjoys playing this character. I think you can kind of see some of what he's doing in the movie Split, where he does a great job. I'm a big fan of James McAvoy. I think he's a great actor. I think he's underrated. Now it's like, does this deserve like an Oscar nod? I don't know. I mean, maybe like I wouldn't be angry because I think he's amazing in this, but it won't get it though because of the type of movie it is. So that's the best part of this movie. Now, like the original, it's it's about these two parents, and it's frustrating because they basically won't step up and be rude and tell their hosts, we're leaving because you're creepy, and we don't like the way you treated our daughter or disrespected us. Now, if I remember correctly, in the original, it's kind of on both of them. But in this one, it's pretty much on Scoot McNairy, Ben, and I like Scoot McNairy as an actor, but man, does he play a weak man in this. Like, just the weakest man who cannot stand up to James McAvoy. I mean, he obviously wants to maybe be James McAvoy. Like, he's the kind of guy he wishes he was. Until the end when he finds out he's a total psycho. But, just confident, doesn't take crap from nobody, will popular with the ladies or with his wife, because Scoot McNairy isn't popular with his wife in this. I mean, she even cheats on him, which I don't remember. I don't know if I don't think that's in the original. She even cheats on him with another guy by sexting, which I kind of found odd. It's like she's cheating, but she's not cheating kind of thing. I guess it's kind of in the middle. But I did enjoy the movie, but yeah, Scoot McNairy plays the ultimate weakling, pathetic man. And Mackenzie Davis even calls him on it, but the child actors are amazing, I would say, in this. Agnes and Ant, both of them, great acting. It's a very small cast. We have 9 people on the IMDb, so I'm just gonna get into spoilers now. I'd say check it out for James McAvoy. I think the person who plays his wife, Aisling Franciosi, is really good too, and the kids are really good. Now, Scoot McNairy and his wife, I don't know, kind of unlikable, but he's incredibly unlikable. So I'd say check it out for that. But so Scoot McNairy, basically everything that goes wrong in this movie is his fault. He they meet them on a trip in Italy where Scoot McNairy becomes kind of becomes friends with James McAvoy. Then they get back to London. They're American. They're living in London. Scoot McNairy's been fired from his job, and they don't know anyone in London. And Mackenzie Davis, I think, is kind of working part-time, remotely. And they're not really very happy. Their daughter kind of has anxiety problems. And they get a letter in the mail from James McAvoy saying, hey, you know, we live I think they live on it's either the west coast or the east coast of England. And, you know, we have this house and you should come out here and visit. And, you know, it will, you know, you can come out here for a couple days and relax and have a good time. So Scoot McNairy's the one who's like, yeah, let's go. Mackenzie Davis isn't really sure, but he's like, it'll be good for our kid because they have a kid, so she can play with the kid. So they're like, okay. So they go out there, and then just slowly James McAvoy is basically establishing his dominance over them. Like, his wife Mackenzie Davis is a vegetarian. James McAvoy slaughters like a goose, forces her to eat it, and she does. And there's like a scene missing where they actually sit down at the table and eat the duck, but I think that was in the original though, where he's like, here, taste this, it's like the best slice of the duck. She doesn't want to, but she does because she's trying to be polite. And then she's like flossing later, her teeth and you know, pieces of the duck are coming out, and she's like, that was disgusting. She's like pissed, but of course Scoot McNairy doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything. So he won't defend his family at all. At a certain point in the movie, Mackenzie Davis even suggests that like Scoot McNairy is, you know, gay for James McAvoy. She kind of like belittles him in front of them by saying like he never gets any sex. This is at a dinner where some random dude is watching their kids and they're not comfortable with it. So it's like, just leave the house, just leave, just go, look, we have to go. Like, that's the thing, you almost start to hate the parents, because it's just obvious. Like, leave the house, which happens in the original. Just leave the house. Yeah, you got to be rude, well, so what? But they don't. And then things, you know, just keep getting worse and worse. And then they actually do leave the house, but they leave behind this this little rabbit thing that the daughter has, this stuffed animal. So then she's freaking out, and then Scoot McNairy's like, we're not going back. Mackenzie Davis is like, we're not going back to get it. But they do, of course. And I think that happened in the original also. But it's like, just, you know, just say to the daughter, look, we'll buy you like three more stuffed animals. It's not that big of a deal. Get over it. And then she's like scratching herself like the little girl. And what should have happened is they stop the car, Mackenzie Davis gets in the back, and then she just holds the little kid and comforts her, but she doesn't even do that. I don't know. There's just things like in this movie that are like that, and it's just like why would you go back? And then they go back, and now it's the morning, and James McAvoy's up and his wife's up, and they're angry at them because they left in the middle of the night without saying anything, which makes sense. And then James McAvoy's wife gives this sob story about how she lost her kid because earlier Mackenzie Davis went on to check on her kid, and her and the little girl and aunt aren't in their beds. They're actually in the beds of James McAvoy and his wife, which is weird, of course. And that was the, straw that broke the camel's back. And then Mackenzie Davis is like, okay, we're leaving. And of course it's not Scoop McNairy that wants to leave, and then they don't leave because they come back and get the money. And then James McAvoy and his wife, and they give this sob story about how she lost her little girl in a miscarriage like a couple months ago. So she heard the little girl was crying and she wanted to comfort her. So then she took them to their bed to comfort her, kind of, to act as her mom, which is also weird. It's like, okay, so you're like trying to be the mom to my little girl. That's kind of like a red flag too, but they stay. And then very quickly, again, soon things get very weird and creepy. There's the famous, dancing scene with the two little kids. The one in the Danish, I think it's Danish, is inside the house. This one's outside the house. And James McAvoy is getting really angry at Ant and is, almost beating him because he's not dancing correctly. But it's just like, just leave. But they continue to let things get worse and worse. And and the Danish movie is shot totally different. This is a much warmer look to it. There's a lot more color. The Danish one is a lot darker. It has this kind of blue cold filter on it. And the Danish one has consequences for these actions of basically not going with your gut, not standing up and being strong for yourself and defending your family. And this is spoilers, so in the Danish one, the bad guys win. They basically they steal their money, they steal their car, which they're gonna sell, and they kill them. They actually like crush them to death, I think, with stones. And in this one, of course, it's more Hollywoodized. You can't let the bad guys win in Hollywood, right? So they have to have no consequences for these actions. And the bad guys don't win. And they end up fighting. They end up fighting them. Even though the whole movie, both of them have been incredibly weak. Scoop McNairy does basically nothing in this fight. Everything is done by his wife. I mean, even in one scene, this other guy who's going to sell their car, he comes to help James McAvoy and his wife. Scoop McNairy goes at him with a hammer, but he, of course, fails to do that. The guy gets the upper hand on him. He's going to push his face onto some glass and kill him. And then Mackenzie Davis runs in with a hammer and kills the guy. So he can't even do that. James McAvoy and his wife are fighting. His wife gets some acid that is like a cleaning agent, and she sprays it on his face. And before this, he got the upper hand on them. Mackenzie Davis pulls out a box cutter, slashes his face. It cuts him like here. That is able to get them to escape, and they barricade themselves in the house, which all of this is different than the original. James McAvoy and his wife Kara. Yeah, I'm just gonna call her Kara. I think that's her name. It's like Ciara or Kara. who's very good. She's a very good actress. I mean, for me, it's like they're the best thing about this movie. Patty and Kara and the two kids are very good, and they barricade themselves in this house. They get in. She sprays this acid on his face, which I think would have blinded him, but doesn't. And then there's escaping through the roof. Scoot McNairy, the one thing he does, I guess, is he falls off the roof, breaks his leg, and then he's able to put the ladder up so that his family can escape down the ladder. It's basically the one thing he does in the whole movie that's heroic at all. And but then he has the gun, and he messes up because James McAvoy is able to get behind him, and then he puts the gun to his little girl's head. But earlier, the little girl was able to get a syringe full of ketamine, and then she injects James McAvoy. So, I mean, I just have to assume this is on purpose, that the man fails at every turn to defend his family at all. Only the wife and the little girl are able to defend themselves, and in turn to defend Scoot McNairy. So I have to assume that is on purpose, because if I remember in the original movie, it's kind of like equal opportunity for the man and the woman to basically fail at defending their family. Like, they're both basically blamed. In this, I feel like it's just blaming Scoot McNairy. But and another failure is when they're finally driving away, they almost get out of there because he slashes their tire, he fixes their tire, and they're almost gonna get out of there, almost gonna get through the gate. But then James McAvoy just throws the little kid Ant into the pool, into this lake. He can't swim. They already established that. So Scoot McNairy stops the car, runs out to save Ant. I mean, it's like, look, you got to choose either your family or you save the little kid, and then everyone's gonna die. So you should just keep driving. But he fails at that, and it's revealed that Ant is actually a kid whose parents were killed by James McAvoy and Kara. And even Kara says that she was a little girl who James McAvoy killed her parents and took her as his wife. I don't know if that's true. She says it, but then acts to help James McAvoy, even though she has a gun. So I don't know if that's true. I don't remember if that's in the original movie. So, yeah, and then there is a pretty powerful scene with the kid Ant, where after the ketamine is in James McAvoy and he's on the ground and he can't really move, the little kid Ant, who they cut the tongue out of so he can't talk, even though he could write this stuff down, and because he's alone with their little daughter, they're sleeping in the same room, he could write out like, hey, they killed my parents, they're not my real parents, you guys need to get out of here and please take me with you, get out of here. We'll then at least get out of here, call the cops, and then they can come and talk to us. But he doesn't do that, which I think in the original that they're in the same room also, so it's kind of a problem with both movies, I would say. I mean, unless the kid can't read and write, but they've never shown that. Doesn't make any sense either. I mean, what is the literacy rate in Europe? It's incredibly high. So obviously he can read and write, but he never writes out anything. He doesn't have like a pen and a piece of paper that he can write to the little girl. The little girl's really smart. She does something very smart. She acts like she's had a period so that she can get alone with her mom and Scoot McNairy. and show them pictures of the previous families that have been killed, and they have this room full of all these, you know, items of watches and all this stuff they've stolen from them, and they have this photo booklet with all the pictures of these previous families, and then he's like pointing, this is me with my real parents. But there's a good scene with Ant and with James McAvoy on the ground where he pulls out a rock, he's and he crushes the skull of James McAvoy, you know, because he obviously hates them because of what they did to him. So James McAvoy dies, Kara dies, she falls off the roof and is dead. Yeah, and then they escape. So there's no consequences to the whole actions of the first 3/4 of the movie, where these two weak parents are not able to defend their children. Especially Scoot McNairy is incredibly weak and pathetic. And I guess that's the main problem with the movie, is it's so Hollywood, the ending. Of course, they can't end it the way the original did, because I guess American audiences just won't stand for that. And I guess it's like, you know, us Americans, we're really the smart ones. We're able to defeat the evil English countryside people. But the people in the original, oh no, they're not able to. So I don't know. I mean, like, which one would I mean, I think the original is a better movie. Like, for the script, definitely. But it's just a little dry. And like I said, James McAvoy is amazing in this. And I think his wife, Kara, is also really good. Aisling Franceschi, can't pronounce her name really, but I think she's very good too. So, but yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see who the director is. Oh, he did The Woman in Black in 2012. I don't remember that movie. It's like a horror movie. Did an episode of Black Mirror. So in the trivia, James McAvoy stated he purposely didn't watch the original. The movie is mainly filmed in Gloucester, the UK. This is a Blumhouse movie. But yeah, I mean, I'd say check out both. Watch the original first, but yeah, there's no consequences. So yeah, but if you could do me a favor and smash that like button, it'd be great. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you next time.